Time to expand your mind once again with the knowledge whale. And before we start, leave a like on this video. It lets me know you care. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. Wolverine wasn't revealed to have bone under his metal claws until the 90s. Jason Derulo's stage name is a pronunciation respelling of his surname Derulo. Gary Sinise, aka Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump, has visited 174 military bases and 21 military hospitals around the world since 2003. Agriculture expert Soloway planted a 2,000-year-old seed back in 2005, and not only did it germinate, but it reproduced. It was called Methuselah, a Judean date palm tree. The identity of the Somerton Man was finally solved after 73 years with the help of forensic genealogy. For decades, authorities and academics had no idea of the identity of the mysterious Somerton Man, whose body was found on a beach outside of Adelaide, Australia in 1948. It turns out that he's Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne who vanished from the public record in April of 1947. Italy was never a province of the Roman Empire. It instead had a special administrative status of Dominia Provinciarum, meaning ruler of the provinces. One of the world's largest shopping malls is in Iran, and it's the 4th largest in the world. Kuwait has the 2nd largest. China holds 3 spots in the top 10, including the largest in the world, and the largest mall in the United States, the Mall of America, is the 12th largest worldwide. French pirate Olivier Levasseur allegedly tossed a necklace containing a puzzle that leads to his treasure into a crowd of people moments before his execution. He told the crowd to go find it if they can. There's a muscle called the tensor tympani muscle, a muscle within the middle of the ear that some people can voluntarily contract to produce a rumbling noise that only they can hear. There's an Australian senator named Bill Heffernan who in 2014 felt that the new security arrangements at Parliament House were inadequate. To protest this, he smuggled in a fake pipe bomb and presented it at the Senate hearing as proof that the building was no longer secure. For decades, radiotherapy patients had reported phenomena such as flashes of bright or blue light when receiving radiation for brain cancer. This was confirmed to be Cherenkov light being generated in the fluids of the eye by researchers in 2019. Modesty was actually the reason the stethoscope was invented by René Laennec, because he was not comfortable placing his ear directly onto a woman's chest in order to hear her heart. In 1922, organized groups of people in New York were beating up pedestrians who forgot to switch hats after the end of summer as fashion rules demanded. We Canadians love Kraft macaroni and cheese, and actually call it Kraft dinner. Some even ignore the instructions and believe that they have a unique way of preparing the food, like adding wieners or cheese. It was created in the Great Depression and has been described as Canada's true national dish. Personally, I like ketchup on it, and if you haven't tried it, don't judge me because it's amazing, man. Delicious. In Hemlau, Germany, there's a place that exists called Bungalow-Straße, which means street without drums. According to legend, it was the last place the children from the Pied Piper fairy tale were last seen. Since then, music and dancing are not allowed on the street. Virtually all dialogue in the movie This Is Spinal Tap from 1984 is improvised. Actors were just given outlines indicating where scenes would begin and end, but everything else came from the actors. As often as possible, the first take was used in the film to capture natural reactions. Glasmine 43 was an anti-personnel mine with a glass body used by the Germans during World War II. It was designed with the minimum amount of metal to reduce the likelihood of detection. An Olympian Polish javelin thrower named Maria Andrzejczyk sold her silver medal to fund a boy's surgery. The buyer let her keep it. Cats display the same main attachment styles as babies and dogs. A pregnancy requires around 50,000 calories, the equivalent of about 199 Snickers candy bars, each containing 250 calories, which is actually a stunningly low amount of calories. 6-year-old Stormy Jones became the world's first successful recipient of a heart and liver transplant in 1984. She had a genetic condition where her liver was unable to remove cholesterol, causing 2 heart attacks. The EU is currently working on a digital product passport so consumers can track where a product comes from, what it's made from, and how to repair it and how to dispose of it. This includes clothing, chemicals, and electronics. The theory that an asteroid caused the dinosaur mass extinction did not emerge until 1980. Geologist Walter Alvarez noticed iridium, a substance found in meteors and very rarely found on Earth, at a certain layer at the dig site. He asked other geologists around the world to see if they could find iridium at the same same level that he did. Given that dinosaur fossils ended at this level, he wondered if a meteor could have wiped them all out. There's a common misperception that a landmine is armed by stepping on it and only triggered by stepping off, providing tension in movies. In fact, the initial pressure trigger would detonate the mine immediately. The power to punish pirates is explicitly mentioned in the US Constitution. When the pirate queen Grace O'Malley's sons were taken captive by the English, she convinced Queen Elizabeth to free them and let O'Malley continue her pirate activities as long as she also defended the crown. The lead singer of the Village People was actually straight. In fact, he was married to Felicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show. A 44-year-old man from France was discovered to be unknowingly missing 90% of his brain, yet he was living a normal life. Medical residents in South Korea are often required to work up to 88 hours per week, with many reporting nearly 100 hours of work. The pirate accent originates from a single actor. Robert Newton exaggerated his natural Cornish accent when he portrayed Blackbeard in Long John Silver in various films in the 1950s. After the US, India has the second largest English-speaking population. Germany built huge artillery during World War I, where each shot would wear out the gun so much that shells had increasing diameter and had to be fired in the right order. Some electric vehicles add idle creep to make their cars feel more comfortable to consumers. In 2013, Jeff Bezos launched a 3-month expedition to recover an F1 engine used on the Apollo 11 Saturn rocket from a depth of 14,000 feet off the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. The engine currently resides in the National Air and Space Museum and is the only recovered flown F1 engine. Carl Sagan originally wanted to include the Beatles' Here Comes the Sun on the record for the spacecraft Voyager, but the record company EMI declined. Aurora Rodriguez Carbalaria attempted to create an ideal human being through her daughter Hildegard. Hildegard read at 2, spoke 4 languages at 8, joined law school at 13, becoming a professor there at 18. Europa has the smoothest surface of any known solid object in our solar system. The apparent youth and smoothness of its surface is due to the water ocean beneath the surface, which could conceivably harbor extraterrestrial life, although it would most likely be that of a single-celled organism and bacteria-like creatures. The Panathenaic Stadium, built in 330 BC, is the only stadium made entirely of marble, was excavated and used in the 1896 Olympics, and is still used for events today. Its record attendance of 80,000 was for a basketball game in 1968. The Bloody Mary cocktail was invented in Paris and was originally called a bucket of blood, then Red Snapper. Not that Bloody Mary is any better, but like it's definitely better than bucket of blood. Nope. No thank you. Vesta Stout, an Illinois mom working in a World War II munitions plant, invented duct tape. Gibraltar forgot it was a city for 180 years. In 2022, it applied to gain city status, lost the bid, but became a city anyway after researchers discovered Queen Victoria had granted it that status 180 years ago. There's a man named Andy George who made a chicken sandwich entirely from scratch. He grew his own veggies, traveled via plane to collect ocean water to make salt, milked a cow to make butter and cheese, killed a chicken, and grew wheat for flour. The entire project took 6 months and cost him $1,500. That better be one darn good sandwich. It's still probably not as good as Popeye's. The best chicken sandwich, might I add. Fight me. There's a fungi that absorbs radiation and is feeding on the Chernobyl nuclear plant right now. Indian wrestler Yogeshwar Dutt refused an Olympic silver upgrade after the original medalist tested positive for drugs posthumously. He did this wishing the late athlete's family to keep the medal out of respect. The Wilkes Land Crater is a gravitational anomaly buried under the Antarctic ice sheet, which is believed to be an impact crater. It's 3 times the size of the Chicxulub crater that many believe was responsible for the wiping out of the dinosaurs. Magikarp is based off of a folktale about a carp swimming upstream, and if it gets past the Dragon Gate, it turns into a dragon. It's meant to be a symbol of passing the imperial exams. There's a Spanish town where 700 residents are descendants of a 17th century samurai who settled there after a Japanese embassy returned home. They all carry the surname Japan. Queen frontman Freddie Mercury left his London estate to his ex-girlfriend, who put it up for sale for $38 million. The reason many African countries have the colors green, yellow, and red in their flags is because of an Ethiopian influence. The colors of the flag of Ethiopia have come to represent the Pan-Africanist ideology because it avoided being taken over by colonial power. Queen ants can have a lifespan of 20 to 30 years, and some worker ants can live several years. The common consensus of drinking 8 glasses of water a day to remain hydrated was based on a 1945 claim with no medical evidence. But that's it. If you guys enjoyed this, you can watch more of this series by clicking one of the links on screen right now, and be sure to leave a like and a comment. It helps me out a lot in the algorithm. And of course, be sure to add me to all my socials. Links are in the description. I'll see you guys next time.